Yep. It wasn't obvious by the music and the fucking picture I have up. I've been watching Trailer Park Boys. Well, specifically, my internet has been. Oh man, it's been a while since I streamed. There was this whole day where my power was just like gone and kept going in and out and surging and basically destroyed the old router I had. So I got a new, like, super mega gamer router, and it was a little bit overkill, but it should solve the router needs for the next few years. Hopefully the next 10, which is what the last one basically I had. Yeah, so, and then, like, last night it gave me a little bit of problems. It was going out. I was trying to go to sleep, so thank God I wasn't streaming. I was just like, fuck it. Put on Trailer Park Boys. So that's that. And I decided, I was like, well, I guess I'll stream a little bit today. Been kind of in like a weird headspace, so don't expect a long stream. Don't expect much of substance. This is just gonna be Mario Kart 64 because it's very lighthearted. It's nothing I really have to commit to. It doesn't matter how good or bad I do at it. It's just Mario Kart. And if you've ever watched my other, whoa, what is happening here? Not responding. Good start. If you watched my Super Mario Kart stream for the SNES, then you realize that I talked about Trailer Park Boys then too, and just kind of talked. This is still really loud. Holy Christ! I have this down to like 18 volume. Turn it down even fucking more. I don't know what the deal is with N64 games being so goddamn loud. And yet Switch games are so fucking quiet. Option. Oh man. Oh my god. Last N64 game I played was whenever I streamed Star Fox 64. I'm just gonna go 50cc because I haven't played Mario Kart 64 in for fucking ever. I'll pick my man Luigi. Okay. Yeah. It's just. Wow, that still seems like it's really loud. Holy fuck. Wow, I kind of got a little bit of a boost. I'm just kind of staring at the volume right now. Holy shit. Playing on these motherfucking controls again is it's weird. This is how it is. It's going to be forever with me, and I feel like this is why Nintendo hasn't done like an N64 Mini or whatever. It was because of anything that's not an N64 controller, which, spoilers, I'm not using, is weird. Because the N64 controller was weird. I guess I get what they were doing, but man, it wasn't until the GameCube did the Nintendo like go with a legitimate controller and not something fucking weird. God. Oh yeah, you can get banana bunches in this game. Forgot about that. I think the game's still kind of loud. Holy fuck. I'm gonna have to turn it down when this match is over. Match. Any game. Wow, man. Oh god, this is gonna be a rough. Mario, you son of a bitch. It's not 4 laps in this game, though, weirdly enough. It's only 3. I can't believe how loud this is, though. Jesus. Like, I can't even really hear my own self anymore through my headset. I guess I don't really need to at the volume this low. I can just hear myself naturally. Yeah, I don't know. It's just started with Trailer Park Boys. Yeah, yeah, I started watching it last night. I was obsessed with Trailer Park Boys for a while. Like, I really don't feel like I get obsessed about shit with anything really, but I'll be goddamned if that was not an obsession. Okay. Number one. I can't believe how loud this is. Holy fuck. It's so ridiculous. Turning it down to 16. For the record, I usually have my headphones at like 50 or 40 at least. Some games that I consider kind of loud, I go down to 30. But this, in 64 games, I have to turn it down to 15, 16. It's almost fucking mute. What the fuck just happened? Crash? Cool. I'm in line with Ricky. I need a joint. Alright, well, let me just reboot this fucking thing. Nothing wants to work. Maybe I shouldn't have streamed. What? Yes. What? Well. Anyway, so yeah, I was watching Trailer Park Boys, and yeah, and I was obsessed with Trailer Park Boys for a while. Like, I wanted... It's gonna sound weird, because technically that show is, like, all about, like, them being degenerates and living in a trailer park, but I was like, I wanted to emulate that life for a while, you know, minus all the going to jail shit and greasy shit. Just, I don't know, it was strange. Like, I see, like, I've always been in line with, I don't need a lot of money or, like, nice things. I'm just happy with, like, people I can talk to, which is, you know, another thing I'll get into in a little bit. And good dope. And just basic amenities, you know, video games. I have them. Guess we gotta do that again, huh? I don't know, because, like, I just, maybe that's a weird, I mean, I'm not being very clear, and that's a problem, part of my problem I've realized as I've gotten older, is that I've never been able to, like, express myself very well. Sometimes I can, most of the time I can't, especially when I'm streaming, because I'm just, like, half of my brain is used concentrating on whatever it is I'm doing in the game, especially with, like, oh, it's really bad, and I can't stream the game because my computer sucks, and I never... Oh, shit, I got the boost. I never, like, intended my computer to be streaming, and it's, like, bad CPU. It's good for just, like, normal games by myself, but when I'm trying to stream shit, it just doesn't work. Because my game, like, my PC can't handle Overwatch, and especially when I'm playing that game. So there's not really any good evidence of it, but I play a lot with my friend, Evian, and I can't, like... make good I can't construct very well good sentences about like whatever it is I may be talking about. Most of the time it's just whatever, but sometimes I'm like really trying to focus on a conversation and I just can't because I'm so busy like strategizing and figuring out where people are and playing the game and whatever. I think if I just do yeah. Bingo. Oh ho ho ho. So see, yeah, I've already gone off twice in my train of thought about Trailer Park Boys. Anyway, yeah, I was just obsessed with it. It's a good show, and like, it came at a time in my life where I was really like, it just came at the right time. I know that's not necessarily a weird concept because people can describe like certain games that may be like considered shitty to other people, but they love it because it, you know, even if they acknowledge like it's bad, like, you know, it has an emotional significance because it came at a good time. Like same with music and albums and shit. And man, I'm just like, while I'm thinking about talking about it, I was like, man, I really hope this doesn't crash again after winning this. So I'll be really upset. I really don't have a backup to anything else. I guess it could be anything. I got several other backup plans because I have a ton of games, but I was kind of set on playing Luigi. Ooh. I think if you're good enough, you can actually not spin out from those, but I'm gonna digress for like the 900th time already, but I've said it many times. I owned it in 64, and I kind of regret selling it because I had this game. I never owned Mario 64, which I think is a little weird, considering that game's basically like what people know the N64. Like, that game was still so relevant. I can't believe how popular it is. But it was kind of like a really big deal when it came out. But I didn't have Mario 64, but I had Mario Kart 64. I had Star Fox 64. GoldenEye, had a Game Shark. I had Ocarina and Majora and Bomberman 64. I played the fuck... Oh good, it didn't crash. I played the ever-loving fuck out of those games. Like, during my... Shit. Going too soon. This music. I played the fuck out of that. And I said it when I streamed Star Fox. I was like... I was so good at that game. And same thing for this one. Like, I did everything. I was really good at it. I always raced 150cc. Good. Oh wow, and I didn't even get an item. Because, I mean, like... I loved Mario Kart. I owned Mario Kart for my Super Nintendo. I've streamed it and everything, and I really, you know, this is a natural evolution. And then apparently, like, all the best ones came out after this that people love. People really don't seem like they love this one that much as I did, which is fine. It's still kind of like, it's half 3D, because, like, characters are all like sprites still. And, you know, but the maps are 3D and the items are 3D. Actually, no, this is sprite. I don't know. I just like it. It's fun. Like I said, it's just more of an emotional, like, nostalgic thing. It's not super deep. There's not, like, a double dash element. There's not a whole bunch of characters. There's only 8. They, you know, I was like, oh, they had voices and shit, they talk, it's funny. I don't know, I just wish I kept my N64. Especially considering if I had known the future, I was gonna have 3 fucking PS2s. Only one of them is broken, and that's after I owned a fat PS2, the original one. I kinda wish I would have kept my N64, because I had like 3 controllers for it, it was great. Wario, don't do it, man. Oh wow, lightning. I had a green controller that I loved. It was the see-through green one. I fucking love that controller, dude. People come over, I'd give them the fucking, like, Game Cats or whatever one that had, like, sawed off, just had the middle stick with the joystick. It didn't have the other 2 prongs on the side for where the C buttons and the D-pad was. It was gray, and I had that, and I had a see-through purple one as well, and I don't know, I just love the green one a lot. One of them had like a busted, like, R button, so I'd force people that came over and played me at games. And I had Smash Brothers. Holy shit, I was good at Smash Brothers. Again, something I've talked about on my Smash Brothers Ultimate streams. And it's a lot of fun. I feel like it's a little bit harder to find stuff for the N64 or find a N64 as opposed to PlayStation and shit. This PlayStation 2 is so popular. And I mean, I got sucked in too, clearly. That's why I sold it, so I could have money for fucking Wario. So I could have money for buying it, and I just... I kind of got, like, really undercut too when I sold it all for, like, a really low price. Story of my life, man. I wish I hadn't sold... No, it's not really a story of my life. There's a few things I wish I'd never parted with. That being one of the minor ones. One of the biggest things I wish I never sold was I had a 1974 Chevrolet Nova. I wish I had that car, and I built it and everything with my dad. And sold it because I was young and impatient. I just wanted my... It's like, oh, I wanted something new. Oh. it was really just impatience. The car still had like a lot of problems that needed to be worked out from being rebuilt. Like the rear differential gears grinded and were really annoying. The car like didn't have any interior. Didn't have anything that was reupholstered or anything. Fuck. I pretty much actually had to go and go to a junkyard and take out two like 1999 or 2000. I don't fucking know. Like Pontiac Grand Prix. Actually, I don't think they made Pontiac in 2000, but no, they did. Yeah, it wasn't until later they went out of business. And weirdly enough, the Grand Prix sits fit in my car. Like the bolt patterns are the same, so I took them like $50 and put them in my car. So that was the only interior I had. I had an aftermarket like what is it, Hirsch shifter, and that thing, and it was like a hammer shifter. It was really nice. It had the original steering wheel in it. There was like, because when I got the car, there was a rat living in the interior, and I had to like, oh my god, it was a nightmare of cleaning and just like getting rid of the rat's, you know, presence that he had in there for so long.
I'm Luigi, number one.
And then I had like that. I had an aftermarket tachometer in it because it was like in 1974 they just had the sideways horizontal speedometer in it. It didn't have anything else. It had two other gauges, and I think it was the voltmeter and like I think like a temperature gauge, and that was it. So, but yeah, I rebuilt the engine, brand new engine, really. Well, it was a refurb. Shit, I need to stop holding that. This is one of my favorite maps in this game, though. It was a refurbished 350 block. Just put like some Vortex headers on, or heads on it, and put some headers and shit. The thing was fucking loud too. Holy shit! Damn. I was trying to cheese. Oh hey, Star in second place. I'll take it. Toad, don't touch me. You're not on my list, Toad, but you will be if you touch me. Oh yeah, there's drafting in this game. You can just like get behind an opponent and like behind long enough you catch like their draft or slipstream, whatever. I don't think it was called slipstreaming, but that's basically what it is. And then there's the whole like drive in the dirt. You do that and you can get a boost. It had a couple of new things. I just remember like loving this map because I could go and fuck with that train, or I was trying to see where the train went for really no reason. Wario. Yeah, so it was a lot of work in that car. I had it when I was really young, 2006. I just started going to college for the very first time. Driving that thing, fucking loud as shit. I didn't even have a front bumper on it because I knew legally I could get away with it. But I had a rear bumper, and everything else in the car was fine. It had some rust, and especially in the trunk, it had a leak. So it was really bad every time it rained, which seemingly back then in that year it was a lot of rain down here. But I can't really say like getting rid of it was entirely bad, because basically I parlayed the money into my next car, which is my 2000 Trans Am that I sold. Like, that just recently got sold. Well, I say recent, I mean like 2 years. A year ago now? A year and a half? It was a 2000 Trans Am Firehawk, actually, which was a limited edition special package. And that car came in 2007, and pretty much as soon as I bought it, I took out a loan to pay out for the rest of it, and then I drove it to California. It's the first time I'd ever really, like, just left. And it wouldn't be the last. It was just basically... I've always had like wanderlust. Like I just can't stay in one spot, and especially like here because I don't. Never had any love for my hometown. I can't skip this? Guess not. Yeah, and I just basically just left one day and just took off. Like a backpack full of clothes and that's it. And that's a whole story. It was didn't even really have a plan. I was just kinda I was determined to just like live in my car. And I just halfway I was in Arizona and I was just I was like, well, I was talking to one of my friends from Fantasy XI because that was basically my home away from home, honestly, up until that point. And, God, I wish I could skip this.
Congratulations! I'm Luigi, #1.
It's like the only animation, too, is that Luigi just pointing. Okay, well, let's up it to 100 cc's. It's usually my favorite speed. It's 100 cc or rank or whatever. Oh god. Star Cup is fun. Special Cup is fun but hard. I really don't like Flower Cup. Let's do it. Yeah, and it was all very like just on chance. That's kind of how I've always lived my life. It's just fuck it, man. I don't have a plan for this shit. I just do things that feel right. And well, weirdly enough, that one actually panned out because I just randomly sent my friend, like he had no idea, like we'd never met in person. We had met over Fantasy XI. Like, I've seen it, like, seen a picture of them, and I knew where they lived and stuff, and we talked, like, every day. Mario. And I just texted him, I was like, back when I had a flip phone, oh, man. This has just become one giant trip down memory lane. I was like, fuck. I hate this map. Of course it would be Toad's map, too. Toad's fucking turnpike. Like, bro, why do you own a turnpike? Who are these people? Where is the industrial complex of the Mushroom Kingdom? That's what I want to know. I think I can go through buses.
Here we go.
Okay. Watch, these bananas are going to screw me here in a little bit.
Here we go.
God damn, Mario's really far ahead. Yeah, and I just texted him. I was like, hey, I'm in Arizona. Can I stay with you for a little bit? He's like, yeah, sure, man, but we're not there right now. We're in Sacramento or wherever they were. And I was like, don't worry, I'm just now in Arizona. Or I was leaving Arizona at that point. And that's really how that summer was just shit. No, it wasn't shit, but it really was like I just kind of did everything on the fly. Like, I didn't really ever stop for food. I stopped in like at gas stations and I would get like a big bag of like nacho cheese Doritos and like a 12-pack of Coke or Pepsi. And just throw them in my passenger seat on my Trans Am and just drive. I remember, like, when I got to Vegas, I went through Vegas, because I just, I went through Boulder Dam, Boulder City, Hoover Dam, and then Vegas is right after that, and, I just remember being, like, blown away because of all the lights, because I got there in sunset, and it was, like, really pretty, and came over the hill, or mountain, or whatever the fuck they are, that's there. I was like, wow, this is fucking, oh shit, this is bad. But that was an amazing view. Alright, I guess I'm taking a an L on this. That was a bad time to spin out.
Here we go.
So yeah, then there was that, and I just remember like driving through the city and being so impressed. I was like, how old was I? I was like 21. No, maybe I was 22. I can't remember. It was either 21 or 22. I had just been like able to drink. I wanted to just stop, and I was like, nah. I was like, I need to keep going, especially considering that, you know, I wasn't really like stopping and sleeping at hotels because hotels cost money. I was sleeping in my car. Like, I would stop, like, oh man, I just remember like getting to Nevada and just getting past Vegas and just realizing there isn't shit here. This is literally just one gigantic desert. And it was very eerie. I remember driving through at night and just... It was just so creepy. Like, it very much felt like a horror movie because, you know, I'm driving like I'd wake up at like 8 and drive to like 4 a.m. until I literally couldn't stay awake anymore, which was, in hindsight, pretty fucking dangerous, but... You know, especially being out there, I wasn't too worried about it because there was like, there's nothing. There's no one. Other than like semis, cargo trucks. And every now and then like a random passenger vehicle would go by. But it was really that desolate. Like there were nights I would be like driving and it'd be like 2 or 3 a.m. And it's just like, oh, god damn it. It was really like, there's nothing there. And it, like, I had CDs, I brought all my CDs with me, but eventually I would just like turn on the radio to wherever I was. And because, you know, there was no like satellite radio in my car, there was no iPod support or anything like that. No, this is the map I actually hate the most in Flower Cup. Toad's Turnpike is, it's bad, but this one's the worst. Those fucking snowmen are just weirdly hard to avoid. Fuck. Like, I would turn on the radio and there was nothing. Like, I know White Sands, like, missile ranges out there, and there's, like, some secret army shit. You know, Area 51, ooh. Which, at the time, I kind of believed it was out there, but when it became a meme and everyone's like, invade Area 51, I was like, do y'all really think it's out there still? Because I don't. That's you dick.
Here we go.
Anyway, I would turn on the radio and there was just like really weird, creepy Christian, like, channels. I don't mean that, like, you know, Christians are weird or anything. I mean that, like, it was very odd sounding because it wasn't, like, Christian music. It was, like, a sermon. But it was really hard to decipher what was actually being said because, like, the reception was really, like, bad. And I'm not talking about, like, I was necessarily receiving it bad, because radio waves propagate better at night, and there ain't fucking shit out there. Like, you can see so many stars at night. It was crazy. There was a couple of moments I had just, like, stopped and got out and was, like, looking. And, like, luckily I was driving through it when there was generally, like, a really full moon. It was, like, a harvest moon, too, because, like, it would come up and it was, like, so huge and, like, yellow. And then, like, as the night went on to, like, 3 or 4 a.m., when I was finally getting tired and I didn't want to drive anymore, it was, like, straight up just a full moon in the air, and it was really illuminating. So I was very glad that that was happening, because it helped through getting through those extremely dark nights. But I had headlights and shit. Oh, man, Trans Am flip-up lights. Let me tell you, that's not something I ever want again. Yeah, it was just, anyway, yeah, it was like, the broadcast was either really far away, or it was really old, because it was very staticky and very hard to make out. Like, it was just very bad quality. So, like, I don't know if it was that in combination with maybe my reception wasn't great, because God only fucking knows where that show is coming from. But that was it. Like, it'd be that and a number of, like, static stations and, like, number stations. It's just, like, the most bizarre shit. So you couple that with, like, being alone at night, driving in a car. I had T-tops too, by the way. So I had a glass roof, basically, I could take off and look out of. Okay. I was hoping either Yoshi or Mario. Oh shit! Chance! Chance time. Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
Luigi, number one.
Number one. It's like the first time I heard Luigi's voice, come to think of it. But, see, goddamn, I digress so much. It's so hard for me to, like, stay on track. So I imagine to some degree it's just... I don't know why people even want to listen to me. But... and maybe people don't. I don't know. I don't care either. So couple with that, just driving alone at night, just so many nights of nothing. Days into nights, nights into days. There was just not a lot going on. I remember, like, so it was very creepy, very eerie, and I would just eventually just be driving in silence because I was like, I don't want to listen to this shit. I only had so many CDs back then. Most of them were burned because that was a relatively new thing. Oh, Mario, you dig. Oh, Bowser, you dig. Toad. It was very weird. I remember one night I stopped at this one gas station in this weird town. Oh, I say weird, but I don't really know. It was just very small and very... It was already kind of like sketched out by the how just desolate everything was. It was called like Tonopah, I think. And I just stopped at a gas... There was one gas station there, or maybe there was two, and the one I stopped at was the only open one at the time. Because it was like 4 a.m. and I just was like, I don't really feel comfortable just staying like out in the open, so for whatever reason in my head, I was like, I'm gonna pull between these two semis who are parked for the night and just sleep in my car, and I did. And that was how most of that trip went. I would just like hide in random places and sleep. So like 8 o'clock would roll around and I'd get up and just start driving again. The time I'd really get out of my car is to get gas or take a piss. I remember that morning especially because salvage this. Okay. I remember that morning because I got up and I was like, I think I had to piss, but I was like, I'm gonna go. That gas station didn't have a bathroom, and I was like, I'm just gonna go. Or maybe I went, and I was like, I got to like this lake in Nevada. I think it was like Walker Lake, and I think years later, or a couple of years after that, or the next year, somebody crashed a plane into it. It's a big lake, and I just stopped in some like town's park because they had bathrooms. It's like I had to piss so bad, so I did, and I just like, I remember there being like people there, like not like kids, but it was just, I'm talking, this was early in the morning. This is like 7, 8 a.m. Well, it's not that early, but remember I had started driving at like the crack of dawn, and that was the very next town or the closest one, and they were just like these old guys, like looked like they were going to work. I'm like, fuck, do people actually have to stop here to go to the bathroom? Is there like a shortage of bathrooms in this town? Because I mean, I understood my reason as being legitimate, but I didn't really understand why they were stopping there. I don't know. It was just like a park too. It was, you know, it had like benches and shit. was like, okay.
I'm a Luigi.
And the rest of it was kind of a blur. I remember going through Reno and being like, that was the next piece of civilization I saw. I was like, okay. And then I got to California, and they had just gotten back to, it was Northern California. I stayed with them. It was good. It was a memorable time, that's for sure. Saw all kinds of crazy shit. I remember they saw my car and they're like, dude, that's so awesome. It's like, yeah, I guess. It's like the one I had before was like much more awesome than this one, but I still really like this one too. Most important thing is it was newer. This is 2007, so it was already 7 years old, but that wasn't that old at the time. God damn you, Wario, get your fucking fat ass out the way. Oh my god. So yeah, let's see how the story all started with Trailer Park Boys. I guess it connects because of the friend I had at the time. It's a shame how that happens. Well, it's happened. I don't even know what fucking happened. I still don't. Never will, probably, but it's just amazing how somebody you can know for 15 years, 14 years, talk to them every day, they've lived with them, suddenly just fucking tips out. Not even really is a reason why. Bummer talk, bummer chat. I just wish I knew why, like, I get people like grow apart, and I get that. I don't know if I can shoot this forward. I get that maybe there's probably something wrong with me, that it's just really talented at driving people away, or being hard to understand, or maybe it's just, you know, something simple that I already acknowledge that is just, I just don't know, and that, like, I can't express myself very well or something. But my problem is that if you have a problem with it, you know, especially after someone you've basically told everything to and you've lived with and you've been friends for a very long time, like, don't you think you might owe them an explanation, or at least want to give them reason why you don't want to be friends with them anymore, and you just want to fucking ghost out, dip out? Because I feel like that's the right thing to do. Like, if you hate my guts, fucking man the fuck up, tell me. Don't be a coward and just dip out like how you do with other people. Because acquaintances, maybe that's okay to do with. I don't really agree with it in general, but I'm not perfect, and I've done similar things before with people I just didn't want to deal with either. Not anybody who's, you know, worthwhile, because I believe when you get to that status of, like, you know, I'm right, like, when you get to that status of, like, good best friend, like, it's ride or die with me. Like, I'll just always be there at a drop of a hat, whatever, because you've earned, like, my loyalty, which I think is something to be, you know, it's sacred. I feel like the world doesn't care, but I know I'm different, I guess. But you know what, man, just fucking man the hell up and tell me. Shit. Like, just dipping out. Like, I mean, I'm not perfect, and I know there was a window of time I could have said something and be like, hey, why are we, you know, suddenly not talking, being strangers? That's I don't like thinking about it, because when it initially happened, I thought about it a lot, and it put me in a really not great spot. Much of kind of how my mindset has been lately, and hence this stream and this commentary, which is not that good. Which is non-existent, really, other than me reminiscing and me complaining. Oh my god, I can't believe that hit Yoshi. Oh, fuck. I don't know, man. I don't like that. That's no good. That kind of like Sonic, which takes the piss out of the situation. But it really did mess me up a little bit, because it's like, man, that's it, man. That's not anything I can just get back. And even if like one day the person comes back and is like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, or whatever the reasons may be, maybe I'd be willing to forgive them. But at the same time, like, that's trust that can't be earned again. I don't think it's never going to be the same kind of deal. Maybe that's narrow-minded, but when you just like are that kind of person when I'm telling everything to, and it's just like that much trust, and you know, we've been through hell and high water together, including like, you know, not at the same time in the same place, but basically went through the army together and played and basically grew up in the home away from home, which is Final Fantasy XI Vanadil. That's fucked, dude. That's not something that can be recovered. Because you pissed it away by not saying anything. Not that that person ever. I don't know. Maybe they still watch my stuff. They know me as Neoblue. Shit, they knew my character name in Final Fantasy XIV when I played that game, Seraphita. So I deleted that, like, maybe last year. It's funny because I deleted that game right when Shadowbringers came out, and everybody was like, and still losing their goddamn minds over it. And I get it, it's a good game, and it's certainly a fucking, it's a comeback story, really. Because I played Final Fantasy XIV 1.0, and it was bad. I don't know, it never, like, it never had the charm that 11 did, and it never hooked me like that. I've played Final Fantasy XI a lot on stream, and I think I've talked about this, but I'm not really sure. I'll just say that that game was like a lifestyle. It really was. Fuck. Do that to yourself, Yoshi. It was like really bad. Like, I was really like addicted to it. But I mean, I also loved it. Like, you know, I just met so many people. And it was such a big like world, and it was the first time I ever played anything like that. And maybe this is not a new thing to be expressed about MMOs, but like at that time, it was like, I couldn't believe that I was playing a game online with other people. So, I mean, yeah, it was like very much like a really big thing for me. I really shouldn't have gambled like that, but I did. Number one. Into a penguin. I still love that game. And you know what the craziest part is? They just announced, and I don't know any of the details, but I just heard it, osmosis through the internet, that they're doing another story beat for it, like another story expansion. I'm like, oh. I really am like torn, because half of me is like, ooh, I want to check it out. And the other half of me is like, no, you fucked up. Like, they ended it on such a good note. Rhapsodies of Vanadil was like the best thing ever. It's the only time I've ever played an expansion and like actually got emotional about it. Because, I mean, it was like the story was kind of like, you know, whatever. Like, Iroha and, you know, her coming from the future where the emptiness had, like, consumed all, which is basically a threat you thought you put down in Chains of Promathia, which is on my list #1 for being the best fucking expansion of any game ever. Fucking fight me, I don't care. because that Chains of Prometheus was amazing, and it still was amazing when I finally beat it again. It was also the hardest fucking thing I think I've ever had to deal with in a video game, because the nature of Final Fantasy XI was so like community driven. You had to get a party, you had to, and then sometimes not only do you have to get a party of 6 people, sometimes you had to get an alliance, which is like 3 or 4 parties of 6 people. And even the toughest shit in that game took multiple alliances of people, all working together to do like one thing. Like, I could sit here and talk all day about it, and it like the highest highs and the lowest lows of it. And back in those days, especially when Chains of Prometheus was new, there was that whole Absolute Virtue debacle, which was a super boss in that game. Oh my god, I don't know what just happened. Luigi freaked out. He heard me say Absolute Virtue, and even he freaked out. No, it was bad. It was like, if you don't know the story in brief, it's basically like alliances of people were having to fight him. First of all, spawning him's a bitch, because you have to do all the shit with like the Jailer of Love and whatever. The fucking, whatever they're called, the jailers in C, which is a high level area in Chains of Prometheus that you didn't get to for a very long time. And then to spawn him, you spawn him, and he's basically like a class. He's like a Dragoon, I think, which was amazing because I was a Dragoon at the time and everybody hated them, so I was like, haha. But he also had the ability to take every other 2 hour from every other job, which is the job class's ultimate ability. Like, oh, you fucker! I'm gonna say it didn't count it. Okay. Wario, you piece of shit. Yeah, like, White Mage had Benediction, Paladins had Invincible, Dragoons eventually had a good one, Spirit Surge, because it was called Wyvern. Samurais had Meg Yoshisui, which was awesome. It's still one of my favorite abilities. I still hear that sound in my head sometimes when I think of that. It's just like the dang when you use it. I can't even like do it with my voice, but yeah, no, like it was fucking crazy. It was actually so crazy how tough that boss was that people they couldn't beat him. Like, it was like 2 or 3 alliances of like 24 people fighting him in rotations for a 24-hour straight period, and people still couldn't kill him. Mainly because I think like when he hit a certain like HP percentage, he would enrage and just like, he had some fucked up like thing, like you had to kill one of the jailers or something to cancel out his 2 hour, but he could Benediction, which would basically just restore all his HP at one fucking go. And not only that, but he had like, I don't know, something crazy of like thousands of HP per second regen tick on him constantly, so that means your DPS gotta like fucking constantly being in good rotation and doing skill chains and magic bursts, because that's how damage was dealt in that game. You had to, like, you needed 2 like melee DPS, so say like Dragoon and Samurai, and you would do 2 weapon skills together, and then it would create a thing called a skill chain. And there was very many different skill chains that all had elemental attributes, and then the 2 big ones were the level 3 skill chains, which were Darkness and Light. You've seen, like, again, if you've seen my streams, you've seen me do this. You would, like, ideally what you would do is you would get 2 really good, like, melee DPS, and you would have, like, black mages and bards, who, you know, bards basically a must-have because they're support. They would just sing songs, and it would give, like, and, like, debuff enemies, and it was crazy, man. There was so much to that game back in that day. And there still is. It's still there, but I mean, it's not the same because, you know, trust NPCs are a thing. And I, for one, love them and have gone on record saying that that was a good change for a game that cannot exist in the time we have now, because it was such a time sink that people are just not going to keep playing it with, like, especially the option of Final Fantasy XIV, which is like, it takes that community aspect out of it a little bit. Because, yeah, high-level stuff in that game, you need, like, a good Link Shell, or in that game, Free Company. Ooh, fuck. Okay. That's super glitched. You need a Free Company or whatever, but you know, that has the whole like matchmaking system where you can just queue and go fucking dance in the Black Forest, or not, this is not called the Black Forest, what's it called? Gridania, whatever. I think it's called the Black Forest. I'm not sure. No, it's definitely not called the Black Forest, but that's terrible. I fucking watched that at the end of the lava, but anyway. It's, yeah, that game, so you can just go do whatever. A lot of high level people, including myself in that game, I was like a level 60 blacksmith. Well, now the cap is 80, I'm sure. At the time it was 60. I had Heaven's Ward, which is the last... I played Heaven Ward, no, it went to 70 during Stormblood, so I was like a 70 blacksmith when I quit. Or maybe I never leveled it up that much, I don't know. It's a time, money thing. I would just craft. I would make like ingots and weapons for people like who would get into the game and like try to like not... I could make high-end weapons, but like I would make target the people who were new and the people who were what I called middle stage of the game, where they were like 40 to 60 and they needed like just the weapons that they couldn't, like if they were, especially if they were leveling really fast, they'd go from like 40 to 50 to 60 faster than they could accumulate the gear to be like topped out in their class. So I would just, because I was a blacksmith, I could make weapons and metal ingots, and I made all the you know, highly desirable materials and weapons. Not even really like good weapons, but I could HQ the low level or mid level stuff really well, very consistently. And I would fucking just sell that shit, and that's how I made profit. And I would turn that profit into making more rose gold nuggets and mithrite, because I was also smart and leveled up miner, so I could just mine all the, like, you know, mats that I needed for my blacksmith job. So that's what I did while I was in queue, because I was also DPS. Did we just do... We just did that. So I would, you know, I was... DPS queue times are always long. I'm just like, yep, that was life for a while in that game. I don't hate Final Fantasy XIV. I actually am fond of it. It's just, I don't think I can do MMOs anymore. And especially not after, and I hate to this back, but it really is a big thing in my life of just not having that friend around, because it was always me and him. And we basically duoed that. We duoed the end of Final Fantasy XI story, and I wish to God I was streaming that, because I think seeing that ending of Rhapsodies and having streaming it would have been amazing. And it was amazing, even though it's not on record anywhere or in video form or anything. Because that was the last time we were... Fucking hell. That was the last time we were living together. I cannot believe that, like, fucking... Bowser, why are you so far ahead? Oh yeah, I forgot there's a weird fucking... Like, I used to say there was just monkeys in the jungle. Well, I guess considering it's Donkey Kong's fucking level. Oh, come on! I thought you could land on the boat. Oh, you son of a bitch. Anyway, yeah, Final Fantasy XIV. Fuck it. Going back to Final Fantasy XI. That's where my passion is at anyway. Yeah, it was crazy, dude. It was absolutely... something that cannot be replicated, something I don't really think should be replicated, and that's why Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 failed, is because they were trying to replicate it when the game was honestly not even really dead yet. I don't really understand that move on Square's part, but Yoshi P came in and fucking literally meteored the whole world in that game and just remade it as A Realm Reborn, which is the success story of 14 that you have now. So you wouldn't have Stormblood and Heaven's Word and Shadowbringers. I almost said Shadowguard. Shadowbringers, which I didn't play, but it looks fine. It looks good. The story in the game's good. It's fine. So you wouldn't have that if it hadn't have been technically for Final Fantasy XI and or the people trying to replicate what I said cannot be replicated in Final Fantasy XI. Just can't do it, man. It's just not. It's not like there's so much time sink in that game. In the early 2000s, fine, but oh, I get nothing. You get nothing. Or wait, did I get another ghost from Ghost? Okay. I don't know what the fuck that ending was, but yeah, I can't do that game again. So it'll always be very near and dear. So that's why I'm like torn with this new like thing they're talking about. I don't know what the level of expansion we're talking about. Are we talking about like Wings of the Goddess? Because that was by far and away the biggest expansion in that game, because that spanned, it was multiple installments from when I see. I didn't play the game. I quit during that Ergan era, so 2006. That's when I really quit, and that's when I lost my main character, the original Neolu. Oh, fuck this, man. Random bullshit. I quit during those days, so that's what people call like the zenith or the golden age of Final Fantasy XI. And I really don't necessarily agree with that. I think some of the really best shit of that game was still yet to come, but I think they mainly say it because that's when the fan base, the player base, was the most active. There was the most people there. So, it's interesting. The whole game is a whole story. So yeah, I don't know. I just quit during then. I just couldn't. I don't know. There was a lot of things going on emotionally, and just being a teenager, basically, getting into my 20s. It's just like, it was tough because I loved the game and I spent so much time in it, but at the same time I was wanting to start life. I think I was kind of just, I don't know. I kind of wanted to run away from it all. Just what I'm good at, I guess. So I did. And that's basically when I stopped playing, and then I got a job and got my car and went to California. That was essentially what that story spawned off of Final Fantasy XI, because that was me running away from it. God damn it. I'm in last place too. Great. I'm gonna have to do this map again. I just don't remember the optimal path. I think you're supposed to go down the middle, maybe. I don't know. Because while you can't really tell what the side things. Hey, Mario. Oh. Fuck. Yep, this is a do-over. So anyway. I don't know. That's what led me into California. That was basically all I was trying to say on that. And then after that, just life progressed, and I just kept living it normally. Oh, this is the first game we saw blue shells, huh? Bingo, bingo, bingo. Oh shit. Is this a salvage? Is this the biggest comeback in history? I don't know who's in front of me, but get hit. Wario! Fuck. Oh man, he was 4-2! Okay, it's fine. I can't even believe I got 5th, to be completely fair. If it wasn't for the star and the triple red shells at the end, it wouldn't have happened. So I mean, if there's a theme to anything I've been saying tonight other than just this boring fucking personal stuff, is that Final Fantasy XI had a gigantic impact on my life. And, you know, continued for a while, and still does. So while it's a bit bittersweet, because the last time I remember playing the game was the last time I was really, like, constant friends with the one friend I mentioned. It was also great because I finally got to go back, and I was like, man, I get to fucking play through Chains of Promathia. You don't understand how hard that expansion was. Especially being a Dragoon, like, because there's this fucking meme, which it wasn't even a meme back then. Memes weren't really widely spread. But it was just a meme that, of course, I have this really good knack of picking, like... Shit, dog. Okay. I have this really good knack of picking DPS classes in games, or just characters or classes in games that people don't like, and Dragoon was one of them because of LOL Dragoon fucking memes. Good. I did it to myself. Played yourself! And so, being LOL Dragoon, even though I loved the job, and honestly, I was good at my job. Like, I became famous, really. That's not even me, like, you know, bragging or blowing smoke up my ass. It's true. Like, people knew who I was because I was so fucking good at it. Specifically, Dragoon Sub-Samurai. And at the time, I played Ballista a lot, which was that game's PvP. And it's so funny because I thought it was such a fucking fast-paced, frenetic, like, thing. And, like, looking back on it, it was so slow. It was such a slow team-based thing. Like, you had to dig for Petras, and then, like, the goal of the game was to dig for these things called Petras, and there was these, like, things called Rooks that would spawn in, like, random spots, and usually on the enemy team's side, and the enemy team, and it was nation battles. There was 3 nations, Bastok, Sandoria, and Windurst, and it was always the battle of the 3 nations, and each match of Ballista, it was, like, random pairing of the 2. And you could only fight for your nation, and at the time, I was Bastok. So I was always Bastok versus Sandoria. That was the heated rival match, because Sandorians did not like Bastokans. And Windurst was kind of somewhere in the middle. They thought they were superior, because it was Tartaru land, and they had all the fucking mages. That's where the mages start. That's where you start for your Tartaru. You don't have to. You can start in any nation, but that's the, like, race city. Like, Tartarus and Mithras are in Windurst. Sandoria is Elvon, and they're a proud and noble race. And a bunch of assholes. And that's why later I became one. No, but just Sandorian's race stats, they had the best, like, stats for strength. And it was... I don't know. I'm just glad they did away with it. I didn't like being racially locked to... Like, certain races were better, like, oh, dude, you're a Hume Dragoon? Well, you're not Elvon. Well, the downside to Elvons were, granted, they had more strength than humans, because Humes, or humans, in that game, were, like, the most balanced species. And we started in Bastok, which is the newest, youngest city, but technologically, they are really up there, because we had fucking Sid in the Ironworks, and he made like, amazing shit. And we had, like, it was a democracy. It was, Sandoria was a kingdom. They had a king and a queen. They had Prince Tryon. Windurst had the Star Sybil, which was Tartarus. And that was the whole reason why the Mithra got into Windurst, is because Tartarus are small, weak little fuckers. And they needed, like, physical protection, because most mages than anything need a physical protector. And they had the Mithras, who were basically assassins for hire. Because each like nation had to deal with a specific beast tribe that was, like, they were warring with, or had warred with, during the Calamity War, or whatever the fuck it was called. Because that actually plays really huge into, like, the lore. It was, I think it was called the Crystal War or something. It was back when Shadow Lord was alive, and spoilers, that's basically the end of the very first thing of when you start that game, is when you get to level 50, you have to beat the resurrected Shadow Lord. Oh, fuck. Damn you, Toad. I was so concentrating on, like, not hitting Toad that I just didn't turn in enough and I fell in the water. So anyway, yeah, Shadow Lord, you fight him, whatever. It was honestly, starting that game, I'm sure at the time it was amazing. It's still not the best story element. When you get to Zillert, which was the expansion afterward, and then introduced the, like, the advanced jobs, which was Dragoon, Samurai, Ninja.
Here we go.
Who else? Dragoon, Samurai, Ninja, Ranger. I think Ranger was there. I think Beastmaster. So I think the game only started with Warrior, Paladin, White Mage, Red Mage, Black Mage, Bard, Monk. Honestly, I can't really remember. It's not a big deal anyway. So Ziller introduced the 55 cap, and then it introduced the advanced jobs like Samurai and Dragoon, because those are the two ones I basically mained. Oh, Bowser, you dick. I love Rainbow Road, though. I love this iteration of Rainbow Road. And yes, I know about the skip, I just don't remember how to do it. I guess it would be correct to say I knew about the skip. I still know of it, I just don't remember. I think it's in the beginning or when that big dip happens. Fuck. So, yeah, you started in a nation and you basically fought for that nation. You had to do nation quests. They're not called that. They were called, like, I don't remember. Something. I think it was just, like, you know, national missions. Fuck, Bowser! Oh. Anyway, yeah, this Rainbow Road's girded off on the side. You can't just drive off it. But obviously they replaced the hazards with a fucking metal chain jump, which is weird. I still really enjoy this map. It's really great. There's even an iteration of this in F-Zero X, which is another N64 racing game I wish I had owned. I want to run over Bowser so badly. Fuck. Bowser, fuck off. Why are you giving me such a hard time today? There, I got my wish. Anyway, I don't know. I just ramble the stream. Ramble the stream scream. Oh, I was gonna say scream. Sorry, Toad, but I really don't want to deal with you, dude. Oh, it's here. You jump off here. How could I forget that? Because it does that when you, like... Yeah. This game's still really great. It's really not anything, like, amazingly special, but I just... The nostalgia hits hard, man. At least I can look at it objectively now. I used to think it was the best Mario Kart, but at the time I had only played this one and the SNES one. Whoa, banana. I used to be an asshole and still lay a yellow banana on the yellow tile. Like this. It'd be harder to see. Granted, I was on a CRT, so everything was harder to see. But anyway. Really should be playing Final Fantasy XI, huh? Oh, I canceled my subscription a while back. The last stream I did of it was right before I canceled it. I think the original point I was talking about was Rhapsodies and how I thought that was a fitting end, and I really don't like the idea. I mean, I'm sure they'll do something amazing, because they've been pretty consistently great with the expansions in terms of story. Like, I loved Seekers of Alduin. I fuck, I fucking love that expansion, like, with all my heart. I love Arcelia. I love the expansion. I love the music, the town. I was basically like the new world in that game. Like, it was like what I imagined explorers from Europe and shit and Asia and whatever thought of the new world when they first found it. Like, that is that in that game. Because you spend the whole time on, like, the main part of the continent. And actually, Chains of Promathia, you went back to Tasmania, or Tanzania, however you fucking say that. Tasmanian Devil, which is where the opening cutscene takes place. That was a bad idea. That's right, you can't control yourself in the air. Oh, I guess I'll have to read this map. So it was really cool when Chains came out, because you see that shit in the opening cinematic for the game, and the only cinematic for the game that I know of. That's not like an in-game cinematic. I'm talking about it was like an animated movie. You see it get obliterated, and that's basically like it lingers over. Like, they talk about it a lot in the lore in Vanadil of how the Tasmanian safehold got fucked up, and it was basically like an archipelago off of the main continent, and that was about as like far as you got. I think you go to Altepa and Zillard, and that's an island in itself. I'd really have to look at the main map, but the three big nations were all connected by one gigantic landmass. So Alduin is like, it's like on the other side of the world, basically, aside from Resenjima, which comes into play in Rhapsodies because that's the home of Tenzin and Iroha, and it's basically Japan. There's no two ways about it. It's fucking Japan part of Vanadil. They did the same shit with Final Fantasy XIV. It's Eorzea is the landlocked continent. It borders what became the area in Stormblood, and then the Garlean Empire is like the giant landmass of like, it's basically like the giant landmass of like Upper Asia, but in that game, and it's owned by the Garleans, who are basically the enemies of the game, or are they? Most of them are bad guys. At least the dude you fight in Stormblood was a bad guy. I just realized I was like, I can potentially ahead, maybe not. No. Okay. Alright, never mind. I don't have to do it again. So, I mean, it's whatever, and you eventually do go to Resenjima in that game. Because, like, Alduin happened. Alduin was the last, the Seekers of Alduin was the last big expansion for that game. There was the 3 or 4 big ones. There was Zillard, there was Chains of Promathia, there was At Urgan, which is another part of the world, too. I think it was, like, I want to say, like, India. I don't really know, but just kind of that, it was like the Middle East. Because you go to At Urgan and they have like, what is she called? Oh man, it's not like an empress, but maybe she was, I don't know. What's her name? Fuck, Alphinaud? No, not Alphinaud, that's Final Fantasy XIV. I can't remember her fucking name. Anyway, but yeah, like, all the fucking soldiers, the elite soldiers were like the serpent guards, and they had like turbans and shit, so I don't know. Whatever you want to equate it to be, it doesn't matter, it's its own thing, it's a fantasy world, but I'm just like, what I think it is Yoshi's over there, he failed. What I think it is basically what I'm saying. So that was its own thing too, and then eventually, so you had that one, okay, so it was Zillard, Promathia, At Urgan, and then, I'm sorry, it was 5. There was Wings of the Goddess, which was a huge expansion, and spanned multiple levels and updates. And actually, when I did my Final Fantasy 15 year return thing, when I streamed it, that was primarily what I was going through, was doing Wings of the Goddess shit. It took so long. Number one. No, but It was like multiple levels. It was crazy because it went from 75, which was the cap when I quit the game and out again, to 80, and then to 85, and then 90. I think the game ended at 90, or maybe they ended at 85. Oh, that's not what I meant. Oh, I think that's it. That's it. Like, you don't unlock anything else. I'm gonna do time trials while I talk, so I can maybe fucking have a cohesive conversation. To Rainbow Road. Oh yeah, you did get allotted 3 mushrooms. So that was the big expansion of the game. I don't even really know why I'm just settling on this conversation. Fuck it, it's my stream. I do what I want. But yeah, and then they had a number of like mini expansions, which were Shantoto Ascension, which I never finished because it wasn't all that interesting to me. There was the Mughal coup d'etat or whatever. It's time trial. Why do we still got these fucking chomps on this level? Ripped straight out of Mario 64. Anyway. There's a Crystalline Prophecy, and then there was like Rhapsodies was technically a mini expansion, but it was much bigger. Like it was, and then there was like the things that added Ambuscade, which was, I stopped playing the game however many years ago. I think 2018 now. That was the like end game shit. Like you got to 99, you got really good at your class, got a lot of good gear from Sparks and Records and Eminence, and you would go do that. And it just basically pit you against a really hard monster that you had to fight. And you could bring Trust in, which thank God, because I couldn't have done it with my friend or by myself at the time without it. Because my trusts were everything in that game. I had all the best ones too. I had Iroha 2, and Arcelia 2, and Shantoto 2, and then healers. PP. Like one of the first ones, but she's a really good healer. So yeah, but basically my whole point is that Rhapsody's Vana'diel was to end the game, and fuck. And the story it's fine. It was basically like a culmination of everything that had happened so far with all the people you met, all the heroes that kind of helped you and knew who you were behind the scenes. Like Zed and Lion. Who else? Like eventually you go and you see the leader lady from that again. Tryon from Sandoria, because he was kind of like a main character too, sort of. Sid, blah blah blah. And you just go and do various missions, and like it was basically all about Iroha. She comes from the future by power of the Phoenix, and it's, now that I think about it, it's very similar to Fire Emblem Awakening. They come from the future and they tell you that the future is fucked up. Why can't race data not be saved for Ghost? And they come from the future, and basically she tells you the emptiness has come and like devoured the world. Like everything has been consumed by emptiness, which means the emptiness is basically that game's like, how do I describe it? It just kind of sucks the life out of everything. It's like that one SCP where people go into, it's a portal that goes into the world that's the exact same Earth, and everything is the exact same of, everything died at a certain date. Like everything stopped existing. That is the emptiness. It is basically that. No, but like it basically just consumes everything, like even the color of light. Like it turns everything to fucking monochrome, like black and white. Everything's faded, everything's dead, nothing exists. Only like weird fucking emptiness monsters, like the fucking things you find in Promethean, because that's where you first run into the emptiness. and that's what was so cool about it, is because like you're first introduced to emptiness, kind of not. It's not even necessarily the main bad guy in Chains of Promathia. It's just a threat because this could happen from possible versions of the world at the time of Vana'diel that had been consumed by emptiness. But they were basically locked to Promethean, so it didn't really ever feel like a threat. You had to get to it through a shattered protocrystal via the crags, which are the main teleport hubs to get you to each nation. And it was basically like a weird, like, very quiet, fucked up realm. I'm sure you've seen me do it if you've seen my streams. I had to go through it. And, so yeah, you think you get rid of it all because you go on to Chains of Promathia and it all ends in a very, like, fucking huge battle, to say the least, with, like, Shinryu and Bahamut. Because Bahamut's an asshole in that game. He's a bad guy, or he's kind of a bad guy. You go and fight Promathia, who is, there's, you know, the goddess what's her name? The goddess Altena? And, yeah, it's Altena in that game, because it's Hydaelyn in Fantasy XIV. I'm telling you, there's a lot borrowed from 11 and 14 still. In fact, the last expansion in Stormblood that I played, you basically fucking go to Resident Jima again. And it plays the same goddamn music! I freaked out when I heard the Iroha Resident Jima music. I was like, dude, what? You know, anyway, you go there and... So, anyway, she comes from the future, tells you emptiness is, like, taking over everything, and you have to go and... You have to stop it, Master! She calls you Master because apparently in the future, which, spoilers, so if you care, which... I can't imagine anybody watching this who cares or is going to play that game, and if you've played the game, you probably already done this. As it was basically a must, because she gives you the rhapsodies of whatever color, rhapsodies of Azure, rhapsodies of whatever, and they give you like experience bonus, which is such a good thing, and trusts and all kinds of good shit. So I imagine people fucking speed through it. Okay. Can I do it with a ghost now? Let's do this. I want to see if I raced my ghost. If I don't, then fuck it. Oh. Select map. Let's do Luigi. Raceway. She calls me Master. See what I mean? I'm just so bad at, like, keeping a line of thought together. It doesn't really help that I'm not bouncing conversation off anybody, so... At least at the moment. Not that I really expect anybody to be listening. And if you are, I just want to say... Thank you. Because, you know, when I started streaming... I was like... When I started, I had, like, delusions of, like, maybe I'll be famous. Maybe I can make this a job. Oh, wouldn't that be great? And then after all the shit with, like, losing my friend and just I'm like, you know what? This is an outlet. This is me just sitting here as a random dude on the internet who loves video games, plays video games, nothing new. 1,000 million people do it better than me. But because I'm so, like, uncertain as to where life will go, or you know, or if I'll even be alive very far into the future, I just want to, like, speak into the ether, just being like, hey, I existed, I'm here right now, and these are my thoughts. So, thanks if you're listening, because that's all I can really ask for. I really don't. No one has to subscribe, no one has to like, no, I don't care. Just want to exist, you know? Anyway. So, spoilers. She calls you master because she's Tenzin's daughter. Like, Tenzin has a daughter with Kagero, and who is also a ninja, just like Fire Emblem. But that's Fates. It's just weird parallels. I'm just now realizing that really, it's probably just the same theme. He has a daughter. She's called Aroha, and she's the priestess. She basically I train, because at that point in the future of the game, you, the AKA the warrior of light, whatever, the hero, you're like kind of like almost a god. It makes sense, like, if you play through all the story elements of that game, just how strong you become, you kind of start bordering on, like, being a god. Or being, like, some sort of, not necessarily a god, but, like, a deity. Like, just, like, some sort of higher power. Not, like, the absolute, like, omnipotent kind of god. Just kind of, like, you have so much power and so many abilities and so much, like, power granted to you via the crystals and all the people you fought for and all those, like, super huge, like, epic battles against deities of the same caliber or more, that you yourself start to kind of ascend. And so Tenzin is like, Tenzin, again, joins you in Chains of Promethean. At the time, he's kind of a bit of an antagonist, and then he kind of, like, joins you because he realizes that whatever he was doing is a lie. And so him and his ninja partner Kagero have a daughter named Aroha, and she comes from the future, and she hasn't been born yet in the current Vana'diel that she shows up in, and she tells you about it, and she's all like, Master, you know, like, just is really attached to you, and you're kind of like, what the fuck is this? And then eventually she does meet Tenzin, and she's all like, you know, I don't think she says it outright in the beginning, that, or maybe she acknowledges that he's the father, or maybe she tells you, I think, and you don't tell them, like, you don't tell him. It's a very much like a Trunks and Dragon Ball Z kind of thing, where he pulls Goku aside and he's all like, hey Goku, I need to talk to you. He's all like, what? He's all like, hey, you see that guy over there? You mean Vegeta? That's my dad. And then Goku starts laughing and falls down. And then my favorite part is Piccolo, he's all like, or no, Vegeta's like, oh, that teenager pointed a finger and Kakarot fell down! It's pretty much that moment. Like, she tells you, like, it's my dad. And you're like, oh. And you start laughing. You're like, who's the mother? And she's like, Kagero. And then, oh, I don't know. I really don't remember. I think she mentions it to Tenzin eventually. And he's kind of like, he's like, what? You are? And then he just kind of like immediately goes with it. He's like, yeah, you're my daughter. But I think Aroha, until the very end, keeps the secret of who the mother is, because she doesn't want to, like, jeopardize it. It's kind of the same thing what Trunks tells Goku. He's like, well, don't tell them, because if they catch wind of it, I won't be born. That kind of thing. Because you could technically, like, I don't know, force a relationship, and then it could fail, you know, by, like, being like, you two look good together, that kind of thing. So she basically, that starts Rhapsodies, and then you go through and you just blah blah blah, beat up shit, go to Resenjima, which is in the future or whatever, and then, wow, it really does not like Luigi. It just keeps wanting to freeze. And you do all the bullshit. Whatever. Okay. I'll wrap this up very quickly, because there's really a lot of stuff that you do in the game, but a lot of it is also kind of just going back to the same areas. That's why I'm saying the story is not anything like amazingly groundbreaking. It's just the ending of it and how it ends. Well, for one thing, you find out that the big bad, technically, that's like spawning all the emptiness, and apparently is one of the fucking hardest fights, is the Cloud of Darkness. Which is funny because I actually beat it in Final Fantasy XIV before I went back in 11 and beat it in 11, which I didn't know it was the boss of Rhapsodies when I got to that point. I knew it was the boss of whatever World of Fuck Offness, World of Darkness, which is a raid in 14. You do it. It became like whatever raid of the week at that point in time. Excuse me. And in 11, it's the final boss. She's the final boss, Cloud of Darkness. So I say she, but it's got tits, but it's technically an androgynous entity of darkness and emptiness. And so you're basically, you know, to save the future, you gotta fight a fucking Cloud of Darkness in the past, in another dimension. And Aroha comes with you, which that was an interesting fight, and very fucking hard, because the fight is not, like, you actually need a legit party of 6 people, but I did it with my friend and our trust because of how we technically fought the monster. And I'll get into that in a second, but basically you just gotta beat it. And Iroha, as an NPC, joins you in that fight, and in that fight, her, you know, she's got black hair, she's like, you know, Asian looking like Tenzin, because they come from Resident Evil or the Far East in the game. And her hair goes like red because she turns into Ultra Instinct Iroha. No, she gets the power of Phoenix, and quite literally has the powers of the Phoenix, which is fire. She has all the tier fire spells, including Flare, and maybe Flare 2. And also she has the ability to res you, which blew my fucking mind when I did that fight, because, I mean, some of the stuff was hard, but up until that point, it was all very manageable. And then I got into that fight, I was like, I'm gonna roller skate this, dude. Wrecked. I wrecked instantly. And I was like, uh-oh, I can't do this. And, but she reses you. She casted Res 2 in the fight. I was like, what? It's game over. I'm supposed to, like, home point at this point in time. Nah, she cast Res 2 on you. She'll only do it, like, I don't really know what determines it, but she'll either do it once or maybe she'll do it twice, but I think it's only once. But she fucking freaks out when you die in the fight. She's like, Master! Master! Dun dun dun! And she's like, Res 2. So, that fucking blew my mind, because that was the first fight I think I've ever done that had an NPC join me. Like, I even had my trust out, and I'm wondering if I had Iroha 1 out, because technically she's the Iroha 2 form trust you get, which helps you out later. So you get her and all her skill sets later in the trust form. And it's a really tough fight, and I only won because me and my friend did it in a weird, fucking weird way. Because I was a weird job. He was Dragoon. She has always been, like I was. And I was Warrior Sub Ninja, because I was basically a weird Blink tank DPS. And I know it's not meta, and I'm sure people would talk shit. I'm sure people did talk shit when they saw me. Well, I don't know. I never really encountered that a whole lot when I played through the second game, because I didn't interact with a lot of people. I stayed with my friend in our own link shell, Galaxy Tokers, and played the game. So we didn't need anybody else, because we did everything together. We could duo the whole game, pretty much. Except for, like, you know, in-game H&Ms or whatever. But we did that fight basically with, like, him being a Dragoon and having trust, and I let him have trust because, well, the person who has trust dies, they disappear, and that's bad, because I wanted to be the, like, DPS / tank, so when I got killed, Iroha would just res me, and his trust would take care of him and cure me, because it's like a party thing. There's NPCs, but they're a party. And I exploited kind of the fight by Blink tanking my ass through it, and then shit would happen, like he would go down, or no, I would go down, Aroha would res me, and he would be tanking, like Dragoon tanking, which they can't do. Trust me, I've done it. And it would just, like, we had another NPC that was a tank. I can't remember his name. I think I just hit retry. Oh no, I didn't. oh fuck, it was either Tryon or somebody that we had as a tank. And so I would die. He would get hate. He would be fighting it as a Dragoon and dying, but his healers would be like spam healing him. And then he would super jump. With super jump in that game that Dragoons got would just basically, you would go up in the air for like a minute and he would just drop all enmity from you. So when it did that, the next thing the boss had to do was tag the next person who had aggro, which would be the healers. But Tryon, as an NPC, because he's a tank, would provoke it and get hate. So that's literally how the fight would go. Like, I would do my best taking DPSing, and because I was blink tanking, I was basically like a glass fucking tank. The only reason I was basically a glorified DPS tank because I was dual wielding like one-handed swords in that game with Sub Ninja, which Utsumi Ichi, which were my shadows, and that fucking boss was just like, it would hit so hard, so I had to keep my shadows up. Moments my shadows would go down, I would have to fucking drop all my Berserk, War Cry, whatever shit, because it's basically like, you lose stats for gaining straight up attack. Most likely it was defense and speed, or dex or some shit. And, no, not dex, because aggressor increased your dex, which was an amazing ability, because it lowered your speed, but it increased your agility, increased your dex. So you lost evasiveness, but you lost... So I was losing the two things that could make me, like, technically avoid a hit, which was agility for evasion and defense for just defense, or vitality, with my ability. So I'd have to drop them, and Warriors got one more thing for tanking, the tanking side, called Defender, which was drop your attack, increase your defense. I would be like canceling my fucking attack abilities and go straight into Defender, which I hated. And then I would like try to live and get my shadows up. Once I got my shadows up, I'd drop Defender and go back to attacking. And it was very stressful, very like, it was just really intense, and I hate to use the word, but epic. It really was. It was like something I shouldn't, like me and him shouldn't have been able to accomplish, but we did it just by being very good at what we did.
I'm Luigi, number one.
So yeah, and then Tryon would provoke it, and then Roja would be like, Master, and res me, and I'd get back up, and I'd just be like immediately casting shadows, and then the healers would spam healing on me because I was low HP when I'd revive. Excuse me, and then I would get back to it, go right back to what I was doing. I'd be provoke. And Tryon would inevitably die because he's not nearly as good as an actual tank, like a human player tank. So there was limitations, very much limitations to the trust. Like, they can't do everything as good as a human would, obviously. And, and so basically that's how we won it. Like, there were so many times when like I would get rezzed and he would be on the verge of dying. He would have to super jump and I would be like in critical health. And I'd be like casting Utsumi Ichi, which has a longer cast time than me, and I'd get my shadows up, and then I'd have to provoke. The Cloud of Darkness would be chasing me after they killed the healer, and I'd be kiting it around the arena. And because the entire time it doesn't really target Iroha, and even if it does target her, she can like hold her own for a little bit, because she's really powerful in that state. She's got, like I said, all the fucking fire moves in the world, and res, and like crazy shit, like Firaga and Firaga 5, and all kinds of stuff. And she would tank, and it would just, and that's literally how we won, just barely winning, just barely squeaking out victory. I remember like we got him close to being almost dead, and or it or she or whatever, and I just popped everything I had, because say what you will about a warrior with two swords, when I used Mighty Strikes, fucking Berserk, Aggressor, I had this other ability which basically it could make me counterattack as a warrior. Like if they hit me I would counter occasionally, which is basically until that point relegated to only monks with counter stance and the counter passive. I popped all my shit and I was just fucking monster, because Mighty Strikes, what that does is it makes every one of your normal hits into an automatic crit. So And I'm talking about my gear was good, even for this weird whacked out job that I'm telling you about in that game. My dual swords, I had amazing gear. I had triple attack, I had double attack, plus like crazy amounts of percentage. My delay on my weapons was kind of big for just swords because I was using like big motherfucking swords. Even though they were only one-handed, they were like broadswords, which had the slowest delay on them. And I was fucking monster, man. So you got mighty strikes countering, and then double attack slash sometimes triple attack per hand, which is each one of my swords. And one of my swords was like a legendary, like whatever, blah blah sword, and it absorbed HP on hit sometimes, so I was getting HP back.
I'm a Luigi.
It was just fucking raw. And then the whole time I'm having to like cast shadows in between my fucking blood rage. It was crazy, man. We won barely. I think he died at the end, so all his trust disappeared, and I just barely squeaked out a kill on it. I was like, dude, I can't believe we did that. And he's like, I don't think we were supposed to do that. I was like, yeah, I think we were supposed to get other level 99 actual fucking players. Because we kind of fucking cheesed the fuck out of it. It really wasn't cheese, though, because it was hard. It was still a really hard fight. So that, like, the whole Rhapsody's experience, that was what capped off the experience for me. And then, like... And then it's just, like, the ending was, like, you go to Resenjima, and you have all the other, like, heroines. There was a lot of, like, female, like, protagonists for each storyline, like Arcelia. You had the Empress lady from Adragan, I can't remember her name, I'm sorry. You had, well, Lion was technically from Zilla, or the original game. She really wasn't her own, like, thing. And you're all hanging out in Resenjima, and Iroha's basically like, I'm gonna disappear now that this shit's over. I'm gonna go back to the future. She didn't say it, but... And basically, it's you and her, like, the girls, I think Arcelia is like, go and talk to her, because this is it. Luigi. Go talk to her. So they, like, stay back, and you go and you talk to her, and it's lame, I know, and it's cheesy, but it hit me right in the feels when it happened, because the most unexpected thing happened. Because you're talking to her, and she's like, I'm gonna miss you, Master, and thank you, you know, for helping me eliminate the source and save the future and whatever. Even though my future's technically already in ruins, you've saved the future for your world in this timeline. And then the most unexpected thing happened, and that's they fucking goddamn developers break the fourth wall with Iroha, and she gets in like the Japanese, like, deep bow on the ground, like, for being, like, truly thankful. I forget what it's called. She gets in that and she goes, thank you for the 14 years of service that you've given this world. And it fucking fucked me up, dude. I'm not even ashamed to admit it. I started tearing up, and I was like, you guys at Square. Because I was not expecting it. Like, I've never seen a game do that. I've never seen it. And it really felt, I don't know, genuine? Which maybe it's like, you could say that you're just being silly because it's a game, it's a paid subscription, you're just making them money, what do they give a shit? But for one thing, I just don't want to believe that, and two, I really feel like, because of how the stories were so well written for the most part in that game, and how the game was constructed, and how it's just been like a small team supporting it all these years, even with many expansions, like Rhapsodies, there'll never be anything like that ever again. Because I had no idea. Like, I liked Iroha a lot as a character, and then just that happens, and I'm just like, I just don't know. This is crazy, man. It's like, so, yeah, hour of Final Fantasy XI talk. That's good. I didn't like I didn't really want this to be like me talking about me, because, and even though some of it was, I don't know. Streaming is my venting, like I said. I want to talk into the ether. And it's a very, like, almost centering thing, I guess. Not always. Sometimes I'm streaming and it's like I'm playing Guilty Gear or something and I'm just like, oh god, you know, I don't have time to feel things. It's just like madness. Fucking counters and destroyeds and Darkstalkers. I'm like, oh, it's spamming combos to try to do Darkness Illusion and whatever, but yeah. It's something, man, Final Fantasy XI. That's why I'm just like, do we really have to do another expansion? Like, now I feel like it's milking the remnants dry. I'm like, just, it's cool people still want to play it. Hell, I go back to it every now and then. And maybe I still will. But do we really have to, like, do another expansion? Like, how many people are still playing? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll be worthwhile. They really haven't failed me in terms of story yet. It's still been one of the greatest experiences in terms of video game stories, and characters, and world building that I'll ever have and ever will have forever until the end of time. And I just wish it would have ended with Rhapsodies because of that ending. And that's really all I was trying to say this whole time, was that. Because that was such a heartfelt gut punch. Because right after she bows and tells you thank you, breaks the fourth wall, the only time the game does that, I think. In a meaningful way, anyway. I don't think I can't really remember a time. I'm going to cover my own ass and say that. Just thank you for your 14 years. She disappears, smiling, because she rarely ever smiled. And, yeah, man. That sucked. I still, even for a while after that happened, felt weird about going back to Resenjima, because it's a legitimate, like, area with monsters in it. And it's a great leveling spot for 99, because you're grinding job points at that point. 99's the cap. You get there and you just want to grind for job points and unlock job perks, basically. So it's a good spot for that. I felt weird going back and hearing the Resenjima music. So, I wish there was, that's why I kind of wish I was streaming it, or wish I was recording it or something, because I wish to see it again sometimes. I kind of want to relive that moment again sometimes, because it was such a moment, and I mean, capturing it in the moment when it happened would have been great, just because of my own reaction, but yeah. But it's like, it's pretty etched into my memory. I don't think I'm going to forget it anytime soon. And call me cheesy, tell me to fuck off, whatever. This was important to me. It was a great video game moment that I don't think will ever be replicated. But anyway, Mario Kart, yeah, talk about Final Fantasy XI the whole time. I knew I was going to play this game. I knew I was going to stream this game tonight. I knew that I was going to be Luigi. These are things I know. I knew I was going to be Luigi, because why would I be anybody else? I knew I was going to probably just talk about things, about life, about me, about my experience with Final Fantasy XI. I just had no idea I was going to talk that much about it. I actually didn't know I was going to talk about 11 specifically, but it ties into so much of my life, and then that news of the recent story shit just kind of surfaced again in my mind, and I was like, oh. So, who knows? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to play it. I don't know if I'll... And if I do play it, I'll most likely stream it, because why not? I do like sharing, you know, that world with other people. Again, and I know most people don't care or even watch my shit, and that's fine. I really don't mind. I just, you know, for the occasional wandering soul who stumbles upon my small corner of the net, just glad. I'm just glad they might like something. It's funny because my most popular video is that Rival Schools video. I had someone in Portuguese tell me, "You're the worst player I've ever seen." I'm like, yeah, no shit. I was like, I own the game, and it's not like I played fighting games. That was back when I first started streaming, too. Or when I first started Anime Friday, which was back in 2017. I was like, no shit, man. I don't play that game. I don't play that game hardly ever. It's a great game. It needs a lot of love. And the fact that I just bought Street Fighter V, they announced Akira and shit for that game, which is from Rival Schools. And she used to be one of my favorite characters to play. So I got excited. I would like to revisit Rival Schools eventually. But I'm just like, that's silly. Of course I'm not good. I don't play that game. I'm not a fighting game master. I don't even know what I was doing. I don't even remember that stream. I just know that that video is popular. I guess because people like Rival Schools. I don't really know why otherwise. I only own disc 2 of the game, which is the Evolution disc. That's the only one I have. That's why I stream that. So, yeah. I think I suck at that. You should see me at Street Fighter V. Ooh, holy shit. Oh my god. That's really bad. I'm really bad at that game. That game is it's good for me because it's very, like, I'm still learning, like, as a, like, fighter. And it's very, like, you jump too much, you do one amateurish thing, you get punished. And that's good. I need to learn. That's good for me. I like it. You may ask, why are you doing Rainbow Road again? Why'd you just do it again? I don't know. It's peaceful, man. It's like Zen. Not Zenyatta, but same thing. It's probably my favorite iteration of Rainbow Road. And I never played any Mario Karts after this other than Double Dash briefly. And that's a good game because of the tag mechanic or whatever. But, I mean, this was marked the end of my Nintendo experience. Like, I had an N64, talked about it earlier, and then after that, nothing. That was it until the Switch. So, there you go. There's Mario Kart 8, I know, I just don't really care. I'm not a big racing game fan. Hold on. I need a drink. Sorry. It's like that one meme where Luigi's flying over the ocean on an egg. Same shit for me. It's like Luigi driving on a rainbow through space by himself. That's why I wish the Chomps weren't on this map still in time trial. So yeah, I don't know. Whatever the future may bring, I guess I'll be here for at least a little while. I know sometime that something's gonna have to change. Maybe the streaming thing won't be there. I don't really think I'm ever gonna get tired of this, but just, you know, sometimes there's these moments in time, certain games I play, like tonight, where I'm just really kind of reaffirming how I feel about my own ventures and... Thanks, Chomp. My own ventures in streaming. Why I do it. Kind of like reaffirmation to myself, I guess? Man, you're gonna have to snippet this into its own, like, segment of, yo, he talks about shit for a long time. If you're here for Mario Kart, just, like, put it into its own talk segment, which I've kind of been considering for a while. I don't really know why, because I'm not really sure anybody would care. Not that I care. Maybe I just like doing it anyway. I don't know. I mean, I can tell myself all day long and not speak to anybody. I don't need to talk to anybody. I'm fine being isolated. But thoughts in my head have to be out eventually at some point, I think. And I think sometimes maybe that's why I kind of just start like rambling. It's like someone turned on a tap. It just won't stop. It's just like I have that small little chance and I just start talking. Hoping that maybe somewhere in the universe that it'll matter on some level. What level? I don't know. Rainbow Road, apparently. I do like this track though because it's really long. So I can just sit here and just kind of mindlessly drive. Like I thought I was on the final lap. Surely when they put that dip just now, they knew it had to have been like a fucking jumping point. I'm gonna say it's on purpose. Yeah. I'm totally quiet because I'm just like, I've said everything. So that's good, I guess, for me. Granted, most of it was about Final Fantasy XI, but I'll be ending the stream after I finish this lap anyway, so... Fear not, it is all almost over. Luigi's psychedelic space rainbow trip. Yo, oh ho! Holy shit, Mario! can't do a Luigi voice. I can get away with scummy Mario, but not like Luigi. He's like, hey, no Mario! That's the Luigi I know from like Super Show. God, where's my fucking picture? Goddammit! Hold on. I've had this edit. I don't know why I made this. I don't know. I don't really care. I made this shit so long ago, and I don't know why. I just love that moment in the Super Show. And fuck you, Luigi! I also have... What the fuck? Wait a minute. Oh, I think I put it on my, Fuck. I think I put it on my actual, like, external... What the fuck? Where is it? If I chroma keyed that, it would have been great. Hang on. Chroma keying. Oh my god. That's going to work. Hang on. Fuck. Oh my god, this is going to be a great moment. No, wait. Play. Yo, it's the Mario Brothers. Implements the game. Found the secret warp zone while working on the drip. Again, I don't know why I have it. I also have this. That's not my original meme. I took that from somebody else. And if you know that video, then you know what I'm talking about. Oh fuck, it's loud. God damn it. Let's turn up the volume as loud as possible. I have a whole bunch of weird shit. And I just keep compiling it because I'm like, oh man, what if I'm streaming and I need this? I'm like, I'm never gonna use this shit. Like that Mario thing, I was like, maybe one of these days when I'm playing a Mario game, I'll have this and I'll chroma key it, and it'll be hilarious. No, it's not. It's not funny. Nothing I do is funny. All right, Mario Kart, good, good, good. Mario Kart 64 specifically, good game. Okay, well, that was that. I really, if anybody's made it this far, then holy shit, I'm proud of you. I don't really deserve it. That really wasn't a good stream in terms of like conversation, but thanks anyway, and I guess well I'll see you next time. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you later.